Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Tim LOVITO is on again, and of course, you're becoming a weekly star here on radio shows, but I guess you feel that way when you're at the Volen Center. Everybody knows you, don't they? Help, Kim, we need some help, right?
Yes, and I come running.
I know you do. But I think the big thing I want to talk about today, and it's really important, and then I know you have events you want to talk about, but it's really the annual flea market and craft fair, and I came to the studio this morning to shout out that I'm going to get rid of a lot of the things I have, and I'm going to take a part in that flea market.
Wonderful.
Right. I'm not a craft person, but, I'm going to be there with all my stuff.
Yeah, mix and mingle. It's going to be packed. We have a huge auditorium, you're aware.
Yes.
Packed auditorium, people coming in all day from 9 to 1, either selling their arts and crafts and their extras or shopping for them. So It's a great place to mix and mingle and buy something, have lunch.
Right. And people will pay with cash. Do I have to worry about charge
I know
cards?
some of the vendors
have charge cards, so I have to.
Charge,
I'll do it that way. I'm excited. I've never done a flea market before. I've never put anything outside, but I have a lot of things now, and I'll bring boxes and then just bring them out as I do it. Right. But I'm not a very good negotiator, so I'll just say.
I'm not either.
Okay.
No, I don't negotiate.
Whatever it is, right?
If
I'll just
want
say,
it,
yeah, right. Well, we'll see what happens there, but I'm telling everybody to come, and I have a lot of interesting things over the years, so people should come because I'm getting rid of them, and they're good things. Okay.
Lots of people are bringing lots of homewares, arts and crafts, books. I've seen collectibles, paintings. I've seen it all when they bring it in.
Okay.
So.
And, of course, this is, you've been doing this for how many times? This is our second one?
I want to say this is third or fourth.
It was very successful, so you continue to do it. And the Volen Center is easily located right off I-95 in Palmetto.
Tucked right back under 95 area.
Exactly. And so people are going to really enjoy this. Okay, now I know that you want to talk a little bit about, I just want to say it's Thursday, March the 12th.
Thursday, March the 12th from 9 to 1. And I know some of the vendors start getting there as some are knocking on the door before I even get there. So
okay, but they pay for tables. It's $25 a table, and if you want an extra table, it's another $15. I think,
correct.
Right?
Yes.
Can't beat that. It's very. And then should we bring a cloth?
Some people bring a cloth, depending on what they have.
Yeah, you don't supply cloths. No, you just get a table.
Correct.
Okay. Well, we'll think about that. So this will be fun. Can I bring my band with me?
Sure.
To really make it sound exciting, right? Okay. So I know that lots of things happen there. Now, we only have this one day for the flea market, but what about what happens every day there? It is so amazing.
So what happens every day is, first of all, the Volen Center is a meal site. We offer breakfast and lunch every day, free of charge, as long as you're registered. So you just make sure you're registered when you come in the door. So breakfast and lunch every day at the meal site. We also have lots of activities, everything from arts and crafts, live entertainment, bingo. Bingo's super popular.
I want to stop you there because if you go on the big fancy cruise ships, the bingo places, you can hardly get a seat. And here they're paying a lot of money, but they love it because it's great to emphasize their vision,
correct,
their hearing, their speaking. Although when you do it, do you have something special, or is the old-fashioned little buttons that you put on them?
They use the dropper things, and we have a big bingo panel, so all the numbers go up there. We have a microphone and usually a volunteer. We love volunteers is calling bingo.
We ought to get Leonie to come to do that sometime. She's got a great voice.
And we have cash prizes. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But it's free to play, and
You have to pay for a card.
Oh, you do? How much is that?
$7 for the card. And I know we're doing a big bingo in May, which is going to be, your first card's going to be free, and there's going to be a big cash pot. So I want to say that's May 6th. May 6th, I believe that's a Wednesday.
Oh, that's fun. That's really fun. It's funny. I have, as you know, triplet grandchildren, and when they come over Thanksgiving, we do bingo. I mean, they just walk away from everybody else, and I have a very nice bingo set, and that's what they do. They fight over the cards. They fight over which one they want. They fight over
Cash prize.
Oh, yeah. I give them all the change I've saved for all year. And, we have a big discussion about that. I don't want the pennies. Okay, well, I'll take the pennies. But bingo is a fun thing, and I'm glad that you do that. But let's go over some of the other situations that people who can't get there, they get there by bus. 30 buses at Volen Center, which is outrageous.
300 rides a day, approximately, yes.
Outrageous.
So we bus people in to the center, and we bus them home. We also take them to their doctor's appointments, their dentist appointments, the pharmacy. If you want to go to Target, just let us know. We take groups to Walmart, Target, Publix. As long as there's a group to go, we're going to shuffle them there.
And then you wait for them. How does that work? What if some people are ready ahead of time? They say, come on, let's go.
They can get on the bus, air-conditioned bus, hang out, and wait for the group. But usually when there's a group, they stay together, and they go get what they have to get done and get back on the bus, and then our buses take them home at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. So, in other words, people who, instead of staying at home, lonely, feeling like no one cares about them, they just have to get motivated enough to pick up and go. And
go.
Some of them dress up. I've noticed that. Some, just come as they are, but some dress up with their hair, their makeup, their jewelry.
Yep.
And I'll bet they meet people there whom they are very enjoyable.
Well, they do meet people there. They make friends. We've talked before about there's been a couple of little love connections that have occurred at the Volen Center. They also, after being there a while, realize that maybe they can volunteer. I do have a lot of members that volunteer in the daycare, as well as calling bingo, as well as meal site, serving food, assisting in the bistro. We're always looking for volunteers.
The big thing that we worry about, and I've always worried about with the senior population, is lonesomeness.
Yes.
Lonesomeness. They won't tell you they're lonesome. They'll just sit there glued to the television, and then morning turns to afternoon, turns to night. Morning turns to noon, turns to night. And that's really a difficult thing.
It is, and it doesn't help with your cognition. No. It doesn't. When you're sitting in front of that TV, you're going to decline. When you're coming into the center and using your brain, and we have live entertainment. You're dancing. You're having a good time. Using your muscles too. You are going to stay vibrant. You're going to enjoy your life. It's all about the quality of your life.
Talk about the food. Everybody wants food. Now, how does that work?
So with the Older Americans Act, those above 60 years old get free food. As long as you're registered with us, so we do a quick little assessment, and you're on our roster, and breakfast is there every morning. It comes to us around 8 o'clock, and people come in and out of there in the morning until around 9:30, 10 o'clock for breakfast. Everything from waffles to cereal, fresh fruit, always coffee, lots of oatmeal with brown sugar. So they enjoy their conversations in the morning while eating breakfast with their friends.
And my guest, I just want to tell you again, it's Kim LOVITO, who has done this many, many times. We love when she comes here because she's a paid volunteer. She's
right.
Really paid, but she's a volunteer in so many ways. But I did have a question about that with food. Who prepares the food? These people that you hire and you bring on?
We cater in our food from a vendor called Chef's Core. All the food is looked over by a registered dietitian. They create this menu, so all of the nutrients are what is required for you to stay healthy. Breakfast and lunch. Snacks are available also for those who are coming to the center as active seniors. We have a bistro, but if you're in our daycare, we do provide the snacks all day long.
Now that's daycare.
Correct.
Right, but we were talking about just people coming.
They can come in and order if they want something between breakfast and lunch. There's our bistro, but then when lunch is served, they go in. I want to say the other day we had this amazing looking meatloaf they were raving over it with this tomato sauce and carrots and crusty bread. It looked amazing. Everyone was happy.
Do people have to prove that they're 65, or can some people who are in their 40s come off the street?
I've never asked for someone's driver's license.
But I'm just curious how you know, there are people who are hungry and they're younger than they're 60. So what do you do?
We don't. We feed everyone. I do have some people that, especially in our daycares, that are there and are not over 60. We feed everyone. Of course, we don't get the funding from the Older Americans Act for it, but we don't turn anyone away.
And so people who are serving, are they paid or are they volunteers?
We have kitchen managers that are paid, but the majority of the people in the kitchen are volunteers.
So they bring out the trays with the food.
Correct. We certify them through Serve Safe, so they know how to wash their hands and wear gloves and hairnets and their aprons, and they know what they're doing in the kitchen, but they are volunteers.
You know, it's a magical story, and that's the problem. That why we have you on. It's not a problem, but let me give a website, and it's Volen Center. It's actually, I don't know if we actually say, no, we don't say the. It's volencenter.com.
Correct.
And I'm giving that because you have so much on there. Volencenter.com. And of course, if you want to give the telephone, you can. I know it's, go ahead. It's
561-395-8920. That's our main number, and you can contact daycare, transportation, the regular Life Enrichment Senior Center, anyone from that number.
And we have talked about this before, but I forgot the answer. When someone can bring their dog, or they have to be a certified?
They should be a service dog, but generally nobody brings their pets. We do have pet therapy there, though. We have someone who comes in through Hounds and Heroes and brings the hounds in to meet the members, and I have them come into daycare too.
Yeah.
And
they love them.
Amazing to see a smile just from a dog entering the room.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Do you have a dog?
I do.
What do you have?
I have a French bulldog who is deaf and blind.
But he knows you. He knows your smell. He knows everything.
He still has that sense of smell because he's as big as a barrel.
Yeah.
And he finds his food every day.
Right.
So, yep.
And he goes outside and he knows where he's going, right?
We take it. We have to carry him because he's deaf and blind. Yeah. But as soon as my husband comes in, he can smell him. He comes right out.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah. They are amazing. I know. So Kim, before you were this wonderful person at the Volen Center, what did you do?
I've been a registered nurse for 26 years, so I'm telling my age. But I worked from oncology at North Broward many, many years ago. I worked in psych, and I worked the last 10 years before I came to the Volen Center, I worked in travel medicine. So I've...
What's travel medicine for you?
Where people travel all over the world, and they need to be prepared to travel to different countries. There's different requirements to travel into different countries, and there's different risks when you're traveling. For instance, malaria, yellow fever, Japanese encephalitis. So
when you say you travel, how long did you have to go away for?
I didn't go away. I spoke to clients about travel medicine and where they were traveling. I get to live vicariously through them.
And why do they do this? Why do the nurses do this?
It's definitely educational. You learn a lot about other places in the world than just where you're at. You work a lot with the Centers for Disease Control because they're the ones that are going to put the alerts where people are traveling. You try to get keep people healthy while they're traveling.
And so do they get a choice of where they're going to go? I mean, there's like a whole list of places where...
Usually it's a fun vacation, but a lot of people travel. I mean, we're global. People travel for work, whether they like it or not.
But they have to work when they get there.
Correct. So they want to be safe. If you're traveling to, Tanzania, you have a risk of malaria. You don't want to get it while you're there. So they came to see me.
That's an interesting profession that you had. So then... what made you come to the Volen Center, and how did that all happen? Is that a secret?
It was time to kind of be quiet, settle down my career, let's put it that way. Again, being a nurse for a long time, you don't want to always do bedside nursing, and so the Volen Center seemed like, hey, it was a bit of a change. but I didn't know what I was getting into. I was hired there to open their nurse registry. I got there, got them licensed, and then it just started spiraling.
But they had a daycare center before you got there.
They had the daycare before I was there, but then they asked me to be the director, and so now I run all 3 centers. I have a staff in my daycare centers of about 30, I think.
Oh my goodness.
And then my nurse registry.
Right. So tell us more about the daycare center. What happens in there? Who would be a perfect person to come to the daycare center?
It depends on the center. So West Boca Raton and East Del Rey are moderate to lower cognitive function. So someone who needs a little more assistance is not so good with the group activities. They don't direct the activities themselves. So those 2 centers are for that individual. The participant who is suffering from some mild cognitive impairment, but still wanting to be super social, get involved in groups, even help others, because I have someone who plays the violin who's teaching someone else in there. She brings her violin every day. She needs to be safe in our center, but and she is safe in our center, but she's helping someone else. So she still participates in the group activity. So that's East Boca Raton. I have a census over there of about 65. I'd say 50 people in the center daily. And that's not the active senior center. That's just the daycare side. I have a 1 staff member to 5 participant ratio, so there's help if needed. And they have a ball. When you come for the flea market.
Right. Now, I have been there.
Visit.
I have visited, actually, a few years ago, because I was very interested in what goes on there. But the thing that we talked about is that it does provide help for the family. Because I did know some young man whose mother, he wouldn't have been able to work, but this way he could bring his mother, take care of it, and then pick her back up, although, because you can deliver them back by bus, but sometimes they want to be picked up. I don't know how that...
If we do pick up and return to home via our transportation, a caregiver has to be there to receive them.
Right. So I think he went and picked up his mother himself and whatever. But it's, do a lot of not daycare centers, but a lot of senior centers don't have this service, do they?
Transportation, no.
And they don't have always a daycare center.
Correct.
So this was unusual that the Volen Center bought this, in a sense.
Yeah, they became licensed because they saw the need in the community. There's a huge need, and I don't think a lot of people realize it, that, seniors sometimes aren't safe. I shouldn't say just seniors. Some people are just not safe when they're home alone, whether it be cognitive impairment, mobility issues, and their caregivers have to work. So
what's the ratio of people in the daycare center to the members or the participants? So, I mean, how many people, because you're talking now, how many people can be there in one day? 30?
In the adult daycare,
yes.
My capacity is 102 in the East Boca location, 45 in Del Rey, and 60 in West Boca at the Levis Center.
So how many at the Volen Center?
In my daycare at East Boca, 102 capacity.
I mean, I was not aware of that. So then how many staff do you have to care for them?
So right now I have about 50 a day. This
is big.
Well, right now I have about 50 clients a day, 50 participants. So my staff is 1 to 5 always. I always have a nurse, on site besides myself, who is also the site manager over there. I have an activity lead at every center. Somebody who's responsible for all these things.
But they know what participant has a problem,
Correct.
whether it's with falling
Correct.
or it's with vision or something, right?
Correct.
And so that's all, so I don't know if it's on a tag or something that you know.
We get to know our participants. So if somebody's new coming in, we have a trial day. We really are on them and watching them when it's a trial day. And then everyone has a different personality. I can walk in there and there could be 50 participants, and I know them just by conversations we've had, even looking at their charts, of course, but just because everyone's so personable, everyone's friendly, we have connections there. So it's just like you running into a friend. I don't need to pull out your chart to know what you're all about.
We have people who are watching this, but I know this particular person, Dr. Mark Gannon, who is a optometrist, and he's a low vision specialist. I don't know if he's ever come there to speak or something, but he certainly he kind of invented what to do with people with low vision. Years ago, I remember we worked so closely together because, macular degeneration or whatever else they come up with. But
we have a VIP, visually impaired persons group. It's our VIP group. Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
And
they meet every day. They have their own little room in the back, and they meet.
And what do they do there?
Whatever they choose to do. They run their own little...
And so you have maybe large print, and you have different kinds of things for them to be able to see.
There are VIPs.
That's lovely. You really... I can't salute you enough for
Thank
what you do, and you know how I feel about the Volen Center. It's my favorite place. I was early there so many years ago that I knew about it, was on the board, and I've told people that before. When I was getting my master's degree, I needed to have a semester of something, and I went there and did the marketing, and it was such a pleasure, because then you really know what's going on.
Right. We have a lot of interns that come in from FAU, and they're usually in case management.
Do me a favor, and we never do this, but why don't you talk a little bit about Jared? Jared's a very special person. He is the man that runs all this.
He is our chief operating officer. He's been there, I want to say, 13 years now.
Didn't realize that.
Started he started as an intern from FAU.
I didn't know that either.
Yes. So he then was running the Life Enrichment, which is the active senior center. And now he is the chief operating officer. He's there super early every morning. I want to say probably around 4:30.
You're kidding. To make sure everything's set up for the day.
That place is his life.
Yes.
So he makes sure everything is running in the center perfectly. It's personal for him. It's his place. So.
And his last name is Policano.
Policano, yes.
Policano. Jared Policano. So, if Kim doesn't treat you well, you can call Jared, right?
Correct.
That would never happen, but I just had to throw that in anyway. And you do have a great board of directors. I know that.
We do. They're all volunteers.
That's right. They are volunteers. But you want to talk about anyone in that particular... We never discussed them, but they do a lot of good things.
They listen to what is needed for the center. Of course, they ask what's going on. They have their board meetings once a month, which I'm not privy to. But they get things done at the center. Everything has to go through them. So and our CEO, Liz Lugo.
Yeah, so the CEO, I remember knowing her too. She's terrific.
Been there for 25 years.
I know
she was
she
also an intern.
I didn't know that's how it started.
Yes.
Well, that's what makes the difference. So let's say you need something really important and really big that you don't have. Would they try to raise the money to do it? Or maybe the money also comes from when we have flea markets and craft. That's what it's all about,
donations.
Right?
We've talked about donations before.
Yes.
We're always in need of donations because we are a nonprofit. The rates that we charge for daycare are, I'd like to say, the lowest in the county, because I've been to a lot of them.
Right. But as you're talking about that, I must say that you tell it's free for many people, and then if you want to take a year's membership for a lot of these events, I think you said it was, I can't even say it because it's so cheap. It's so inexpensive. $60 a year, and you get to come. Do you have like a little button that shows you're a member?
They have little membership cards that we make up once you renew, or they get a new one every year. Mm-hmm. And so you get all of your, lunch bunch, you can go to Lunch Bunch. Of course, you have to pay for your own lunch, but they go out every Tuesday. You get all the activities in the center, and all the transportation for your $60 a year.
The transportation is, of course, we know, the key in any senior's life.
It is.
Because a lot of people who are the family members have to leave work. They have to pick them up. There are other companies that do that. But for you to have... it's personalized when someone else does it. This way, they go as a group, and I've been there sometimes at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or whenever, and everyone's waiting in line, and then they call the people who are on that particular bus. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of nice, too. Goodbye, we'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yes, it's very nice. They can ride with their friends often if they live close. that they're getting home safely. You know, our driver is not going to drop someone in a place they're uncomfortable. I mean, even with my centers I have at the East Boca Raton Center, if someone is being dropped off and someone's not there for them, or they're not in the right place or something,
Back on the bus.
Back on the bus and back to East Boca Raton. So I have staff there until there is an all clear, and that means everyone's home.
Yeah, because something could have happened to the family
Correct.
member.
Correct.
And what would you do if you couldn't get a hold of the family member? Would you take them home?
We can't do that.
I know, but you're like that. You'd say,
I would stay. And so we of course there are laws and rules.
Right.
If I know, and we know all of our clients, if I know that someone is not negligent,
Right.
we're staying with the participant until someone comes and picks up.
So you
that
have
client.
emergency numbers and all for
We have
people
emergency
in case something
numbers.
happens.
Yes.
Life is so,
Great.
it's difficult sometimes, but you do manage it.
We do.
It's so nice to have you come, Kim, and I know you take time.
you know
away.
I love it here. So.
I know you take time away from your position, but it's well worth it. I know people listening. I'm sure there have been people who've come because they've heard you on the radio. They never heard about this place before. As funny as that seems, but that happens all the time.
I like to get the word out.
Yes, I know you do. Excuse me, you do a very good job of it. So, Kim, we'll wait for another time, but I think I'm going to see you at that flea market's on March the 12th. My goodness, it's coming
around
up.
the
I better
corner.
get my act together here and get my stuff, right?
Yes.
And you did get all the books, too.
We
You
did.
have huge amount of books to give away or sell. I don't know what you're going to do with them, but you could see. I don't know if you went through them. Fabulous
I haven't
books. And I have to pick up my
You didn't pick it up yet?
no, make sure I can get it because I have to
Yes.
bring them all in the books. Anyway, I thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.